Hey guys, how you guys doing? This is Jae Burnham and this is the real Jae Burnham, and welcome to day 10 of my SSSVEDA vlog. Thank you so much. But this video, I'm going to be doing a little something. I'm going to do a little thing like that, but I'm going to follow up and I'm going to have a rebuttal to my video that I did a couple days ago regarding James Damore and the Google Anti-Diversity Manifesto or memo or whatever you guys want to call it. So on and so forth. First of all, I've got a lot of people that attacked me politely, but they attacked me. Some not so. I got some things. People did some kind of underhanded things, which actually amazes me. That, you know, if they didn't like what I said about James, then why are they doing these underhanded, filthy, sneaky things that actually goes against exactly what he said shouldn't happen? But that. Don't let that stop you guys from, you know, signing me up for Match.com or some of these spam things. Thank you. Well done. Very clever. Very immature of you. I'm glad that you haven't progressed out of the 3rd grade. God bless you. I wish we all could have the mind of a child. Well done, guys. And those who are actually trying to attack me, you know, very politically correct with big words and so on. You guys misunderstand everything. You guys are claiming that I did not read the manifesto. You're claiming that I'm misrepresenting James Damore, and I'm not. I'm not. But that, because obviously what you did not do was actually listen to the video. You actually did not listen to my thesis, if you will, and my hypothesis about what I think. Mine was not coming from a political stance. Mine was not coming from a sociological stance. Mine wasn't coming from right or left or any of that hogwash. I wasn't making this political. I wasn't making it about social. This was strictly about business. It was about the business lessons that we entrepreneurs should apply and have in our business, so something like this doesn't happen to us. James freely admits that what he did was explosive and controversial. He knew it was going to be very unpopular, and he knew that he probably would get fired. In fact, he actually says this very thing, and when I go to my computer, I'm going to show you his exact quote of what he said in regards to this. Yes, he did make some citations, and he did show some studies, did do some citations to some studies, which you have to go and link to, but he didn't actually, in his citations, he didn't actually say from so-and-so and blah, blah, blah. He just put a link with some keywords and called that good enough. Maybe that, you know, when I was in school, no, you had to put the actual citation down, like it was written at, you know, the date, the year, who it was written by, and so on and so, where it was published and all that. That was the citation. His citation did not do it. It was just some keywords that was highlighted so that you would link to it out, and then you had to go read it, which is fine. Fine. At least he put those citations there, and I don't disagree with his stance at all. In fact, I agree with James. I think 100%. I think some of his solutions were right on par. I think everything. I actually don't misrepresent him at all. However, he was in a business which he knew had a certain stance on diversity. They had a certain position on diversity that they wanted implemented in their business. He knew this. He knew this going in. He admits it on video in subsequent interviews that he's done with Bloomberg and some of the other podcasters and stuff, that he knew that he actually went to a diversity program and he disagreed with it. So he had some time on his hands. He had a 12-hour flight going over to China, apparently. So he wrote this up. No, and don't get me wrong, what he wrote wasn't bad. I liked it. It was clear, concise. It was easy to read, even for a layman like myself. Yes, he did send out some citations, but I'm not mischaracterizing. What he did was wrong. He was a moron. He was an immature punk kid moron trying to basically bellyache about the corporate structure at Google and their stance on diversity. You know, you can have those opinions, and you can even write your manifesto. What you did wrong was what you did wrong was presenting it to people that had no business reading it, and then trying to defend it on Twitter, which then just blew up even more. did those people on the left who were attacking you and said you were being misogynist and machisist and all this other isms, were they correct? Probably not. But that isn't the point. The point is you pissed these people off, that you said something that they didn't like, which you knew they wouldn't like. And that is my point on this. And that was my point in my original. You gotta love doing vlogs, man, because real things happen like that. You know, what you said, you knew was going to be controversial. You knew it was going to be a problem. You knew that it was going to cause problems. And you got fired knowing you probably would get fired. You said it in your own manifesto that Google is leaning left. And what you wrote was a controversial, right-leaning, political statement. You knew it was going to be a problem. So don't be surprised that you got fired. The problem I'm saying from the business standpoint there are 5 lessons I presented in my video, which from a business standpoint is 100% correct. Do I agree with James's opinion? Yes. Do I agree with what he did and how he did it? Absolutely not. He was an immature, lily-livered punk kid who went behind everybody's back to cause a problem. What he did, he knew was going to cause a problem. And that, my friend, is stupidity, ignorance, and plainly arrogance. He might come off as this mild-mannered, level-headed young presenting kid that you want to all believe, but he knew what he was doing. He admits he knew what he was doing. He knew the political. He's not an idiot, so he's not a victim here. And I'm not gonna kowtow to his victimhood. I'm not going to kowtow to the left. I'm not going to kowtow to the liberals and their friggin' victimhood. I'm certainly not going to do that to the people who lean to the right either. All right? You're playing the victim. Stop it. What you did was wrong when it comes to your business. If you want to have those leanings, you want to write that manifesto, I agree. Write it. Present it in put it in the right audience. Maybe write it, send it to Breitbart, send it to some of these other people that would actually take it up and listen to you. But sending it in internally, into a message internally, into an organization you knew was not going to accept this message, was not only foolhardy, it was downright creating a hostile environment. Period. What you did was wrong. And I stand by the video I did the other day. I'm not mischaracterizing you. You knew what you were doing. You're not stupid. And all the people who think I'm mischaracterizing him and want to agree with his stance and think I'm out to get him, you too all you're doing is enabling him. You guys are wrong. When it comes to his business, he was there to do a job. His job was to code programs. His job wasn't to create some sort of diversity program or anti-diversity program in his business. If that was his job, then his manifesto would have been correct. And if fired for that, then yeah, I might think he has a case. But he doesn't. He was a coder. That was what he's hired for. I don't care that he went to Harvard. I don't care that he went to MIT. I don't care that he went to, whatever else he did. Doesn't make a sense. He's still an immature punk kid who's playing the victim card. Doesn't fly with me. What he did in regards to the business and in his job was wrong. Now let's go back to my computer and let's go over a little bit more of this. All right? Thanks. Okay, guys, here I'm back at my computer now. How do you guys like my Secret Wars t-shirt? You guys like that? A little Funko characters, a little Baba dude. Anyway, let's get back into it. So here I'm at my computer. I'm going to be going over James's manifesto. It's all 10 pages, the unedited version, so none of you guys can say, oh, you're using the edited version. Blah, blah, blah. Oh, quiet. Shut up. But the thing is I stand by what I said in my previous video. Whether you guys want to agree with it or not, those are lessons we all can learn from an entrepreneur business standpoint. Again, I'm not arguing the veracity of his political or socioeconomic stances. That is not the point of the video. And those guys who liked my thing, thank you. I appreciate it. All 6 of them. I think there was like 19 down votes and like 6 up votes to the video. Okay, whatever. Obviously, you guys did not get what I was saying about the business. What he did in the business, in his business environment was wrong. And he knew it. He knew it. Just check out some of the He knew what he was doing was wrong. He knew it was going to be controversial. He knew it was going to be explosive. And actually, we're going to go over exactly what he said, and I'm going to show in his own writing from his own manifesto that what he was doing was going to cause a stir. And that's exactly what he was trying to do. He was trying to cause problems. So should he have gotten fired? Absolutely. Should he have brought this to the forefront? Should he have been causing problems? I don't know, maybe. Maybe it was good. Maybe this will be good for Google. Maybe it'll shake up the tree and maybe bring in some, more conservative viewpoints to the organization. I doubt it, but maybe it will. Maybe it will have a positive impact. But it's not having a positive impact. All right, so let's go over and let's actually go to his manifesto that he wrote. Okay, here we go. All right, so this is Google's ideological echo chamber. And I agree with you, there's an echo chamber. And that's not just Google's ideological echo chamber. There's an echo chamber in society, period. We listen to what we want to. But the point being, and we do know that Google has an echo chamber. They have clearly stated, even I know from a layman, that they are left-leaning. They have a diversity program. Their logo, for crying out loud, is a rainbow. How more left-leaning and progressive can you be? Anyway, so, all right, but let's actually go to what James says. And this is a quote. This is from him, right? This is his. He signed it, right? Okay, this is what he says, right? And he's talking about the biases. All right, I think it went past it. Whoops, right there it is. Okay, it says, only facts and reasons can shed light on these biases. But when it comes to diversity and inclusion, Google's left bias has created a politically correct monoculture that maintains its home by shaming dissenters into silence. He's a dissenter. Google's going to shame him in silence. They fired him. He knew what he was doing was wrong. He knew that it was going against Google's monoculture, politically correct monoculture that he states that they have. He knew what he was doing was going against it. He knew it was going to be explosive, and he knew writing this was controversial. He knew what he was doing. He's not an innocent in this. Stop trying to make him out to be this choir boy for your and being a martyr for your cause. I agree with his stance. I agree with it. But when it comes to when you agree to work for an employer, you agree to work within that business's culture. If you don't agree with that business's culture, then quit. You quit. If you want to make a change, then try to make a change. But it isn't by causing a mutiny. It isn't done by causing a hostile work environment. You are not Donald Trump, James. You cannot go and tweet your life or write memos that are going to cause an explosion in your work environment and think you can walk away unscathed. Even Donald Trump, in all of his abilities, he's not walking away unscathed. In fact, his tweeting has done more to harm him, not only with the left, but with the right as well. He is not walking unscathed. If he doesn't walk out with a conviction from this Russian scandal, I'm going to be surprised, because people hate him so much that they're going to do anything and everything to bring him down. That's exactly what you're doing. You just don't have the same talents and expertise that Donald Trump has. You knew what you were going to do. You knew what they were going to do, that Google was going to shame you and into silence. And that's exactly what they've done. This silence removes any checks against encroaching extremists and authoritarian policies. For the rest of this document, I'll concentrate on the extreme stance that all differences in outcome are due to differential treatment and the authoritarian element that's required to actually discriminate to create equal representation. You knew you weren't going to get equal representation. You did this to cause a problem. That's why I stand behind my statement, my earlier video. From a business standpoint, what you did was wrong. You don't go into, and I say this about the poor people. If you don't like getting minimum wage, then go change your circumstances so you don't get minimum wage. You don't complain about getting minimum wage when you agreed to work for somebody for minimum wage. You go and you get the job. You knew you were going to get paid minimum wage. That does not now give you the right to go and demand that you get $15 an hour because you deserve it. Why? Why do you deserve it? Because you exist? Screw you. It's the same argument, James. You know, you don't get to come into the work environment and say, now that I work here, you've got to come around my culture. No, you fit into the business culture. They're hiring you because they thought you would be a great asset to their business culture. They thought highly enough of you to think that you could contribute to the motion. And now you're going against the motion. You're trying to swim upstream. And you're one of very few people in the organization. So what you're trying to do is you're trying to use this by creating such a stir that hopefully some people go, oh yeah, you're right. Let's be reasonable. What you thought was right is right. Yay, let's change Google. No, from your own writings, you knew that there was such a left-leaning political monoculture that was going to shame you being a dissenter into silence. You knew it. So you created this to create this huge explosion. Hopefully, it's going to change some people's mind, which you in your own manifesto know wasn't going to occur. You've already said that people are living in an echo chamber, and they're not going to listen to dissension from their political or sociological or religious viewpoint. So here you're trying to create a paper which you are trying to blow up so that you get the people that will change their mind and go against the echo chamber. You're an idiot. You're a moron. You're a fool. It's not going to happen. Again, I don't disagree with your stances. I don't disagree with your writing. I very much agree with you. If you would have written this up and put this into your own blog and distributed, or you did it in another audience that was acceptable, or something that would have been appropriate for this article, I would have 100% backed you up. But from you being an employee in Google, it was inappropriate. It wasn't your job. Now, let's take it from somebody who has a senior point. Not only that, you say that the women are more, let's go back to where you're saying here. Yeah, here we go. It says here, men have a higher drive for status. We always ask why we don't see women in top leadership positions. We do, by the way. I don't know if you've been noticing a lot. We almost had a woman president. Hello. Did you check some of the Republican political candidates who are running companies who are CEOs? Yes, there's a large discrepancy between the amounts. But we do have women in high leadership positions here, dude. We do. A lot of women. So that is, you say we don't see women in top leadership positions. That's a lie. We do see women in top leadership positions. So say we don't see women is wrong. Now, I'll give you maybe you were going to say we don't see a lot of women in top leader positions. That would have been a more correct statement. And maybe that's what you were trying to go for. But to say women are not in top leadership positions, well, screw you. Ever hear of Margaret Thatcher? She ran an entire friggin' empire. Come on. Ever hear of Queen Elizabeth? She ran an entire friggin' empire. All right? Don't tell me that women are not in top leadership positions. They are, and can be, and will be. All right? These positions often require long, stressful hours that may not be worth it if you want to balance a fulfilling life. I agree. Status is the primary metric that men are judged on. I agree. That is. That's what they're going for. More money, more power. Absolutely. Pushing many men into these higher paying, less satisfying jobs for the status that they entail. Absolutely, 100% agree. Right? Men are very competitive. Absolutely. Note that the same forces that lead men into high-paying, high-stress jobs in tech and leadership cause men to take undesirable and dangerous stuff like coal mining, garbage collection, and firefighting, and suffer 93% of work-related deaths. Don't disagree with you there. Don't disagree. Right? Absolutely. All right. But here's the point. Women can be just as powerful as men. They can be, and they have proven themselves to be so. All right. We just had Kellyanne Conway became the first woman to run a successful political campaign. Got somebody president. Never been done before. First woman. You know, there's a lot of people who are, I mean, have you watched Shark Tank? I would have to say a good 60% of the entrepreneurs that come into Shark Tank are women. Maybe I'm wrong, but I guarantee it's right around that 60-50, maybe 40%, right around that mid-level. About half of them are women and half of them are men. I wouldn't say there's a majority of men that come on the Shark Tank. All right, so don't say that women don't do top leadership. That is a falsehood. All right. You know, Sarah Palin, you know, was a governor. We had a female governor here in Michigan. Didn't like her politics, but she was our governor. That's a top leadership position, right? So to say that women don't do that is wrong. That women can't have the same drives that men can is wrong. Maybe not all women, maybe not the majority of women, but to say all to women, no. Yes, there is a tradition of feminine, culture. I agree. But here's the thing, man. You're biased, and what you're doing is wrong. Stop alienating. And this is the suggestions you want Google to think. Demoralize diversity. Okay, I agree. Let's demoralize. Let's start, making it on it, victimhood and so on. Stop alienating conservatives. Not gonna happen, dude. You can't say to tell them to stop. That is not a solution. It's just not. I mean, they've already said that they're going to lean left. That's their culture. That's their right to have that culture. All right? Confront Google's biases. They don't want to confront it. They want to embrace it. They've said that's where their mission statement was going, towards the left. Yes, I agree. Maybe they should, but this is not a political organization. This is not Google's not a political party. It's a business. And a business has a mission statement. That mission statement is to go in one direction or another, whether you like it or not. And if you don't like which way they're going, then leave. You have that right to go elsewhere. You do not have the right to try to disrupt their mission statement. That's not your job. It's not your prerogative, right? If this was a political party and you wanted to have this as a political discussion, I can see where that would have been an appropriate paper to present, but not in business. All right? I don't agree with what your solutions are, but I can't really call them solutions because there's really no program to get such things in. These are just, hey, stop doing this. Let's stop working on that. That's not actually a solution. Solution is go, okay, instead of stop alienating conservatives, let's make a safe space for conservatives. Let's present A, B, C, D, E, F, G program to make sure that conservatives, whether they're a minority or not, actually have a voice that can be heard, right? Let's make it so that they're safe to give a conservative. But we're talking about conservatives. You're talking about politics in a business organization. Politics has no business in business. I'm one of the first ones. Leave politics out of business. I don't care if you're left. I don't care if you're right. If you're going to help me make more money and you want to contribute to the flow, I'm going to accept you. When you stop contributing to the flow, I'm going to get rid of you, right? And that's where I'm coming from. I'm coming from a business standpoint with my thing. So my rebuttal is that, right? But let's get rid of that. Let's go to this. This is from Jonathan Zunger, who used to work for Google. And basically, if you read his article, he presents in a fairly intelligent way of what you did wrong, James. And basically, he was saying that, one of the biggest jobs from a senior management position was doing those positions that you called female, or was doing collaborations, was working with other groups. You, as a programmer, didn't get to see that because you were not at a high enough level. In other words, you are whistling past the graveyard when you're talking about things you don't know what's going on in Google. You have a viewpoint from your status, and your status wasn't high enough to see what was actually going around the big picture. So stop trying to present a solution to a problem when you can't even see the big picture. And that's what this guy is trying to say. And I agree with it. If you're the low man on the totem pole, don't tell the president of the company how he's not running his company right. If you knew how to run a company, if you knew how to get a company running and do it the right way, you would be running your own company. It comes from, there's a line in the movie from the Facebook movie, right? I forget what the thing, but it was about Facebook. And he was, the guy who was playing, what's his name, the Zuckerman, whoever the friggin' Facebook guy is. I'm having a brain fart. But they were having their arbitration. He goes, if you knew anything about Facebook, if you knew how to do Facebook, you would have created Facebook. No, this guy who created Facebook knew about Facebook. He created Facebook. If the guys who were complaining that he took Facebook from him could actually do what he did, they would have created Facebook. And if you knew how to run a business, you would be running a business instead of trying to create problems for the business that you actually employs you and is responsible for your livelihood at the moment. Of course, now you're fired, so hey, there you go. Maybe you could turn this into a positive. Maybe you could prove me wrong. Maybe you'll go start your own business. But I tell you right now, even though you said that you've got job opportunities and people coming to you for work, I don't believe you. I don't believe you. Because if you had a legitimate job offer, you would have a job right now. So you don't have a legitimate job offer. All right? It's just the way it is. The facts are the facts. You're not going to blow smoke up my ass. I don't care if you right or left. And that's all I'm saying. And this is my rebuttal. All right, guys? Thank you. Have a great day. Bye-bye.